Hey everyone, with me this week is a 2020 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. Now, the Sequoia has been on sale largely unchanged since the 2007 model year, meaning that it's now 14 years old. It has received a couple small updates. It's got a facelift in the mid-2000s, but altogether, this thing is one of the oldest vehicles on sale today. And with most old vehicles, automakers will take to introducing new and exciting trim levels, and that's what we see here with the TRD Pro trim for 2020. Now, this vehicle is in no way a competitor to the Land Cruiser. It's not a replacement for the Land Cruiser. The Sequoia comes with an independent rear suspension, only part-time four-wheel drive. It's big, it's heavy, its geometry isn't really optimized for going off-road. That said, the Sequoia is an excellent family vehicle. It offers room for, in this case, up to 7 passengers because the TRD Pro comes exclusively with second row captain's chairs. And that third row folds flat into the rear load floor. So it's like an Expedition or a Tahoe or a Yukon. It offers a lot of family-friendly features. So we will do a quick tour of the Sequoia here, inside, outside, and then I will share with you some of my thoughts on this dinosaur of an SUV. From the outside, I wouldn't call this a bad-looking vehicle. It does look a little bloated. Up front, you get that super rad Toyota Wordmark grille. Here's a look at those Rigid Industries fog lights. Now, I tested these out in a Montana snowstorm on a 2020 Tundra TRD Pro, and I can say that they're actually really nice. They can't legally be brighter than your average fog light, but these are a lot crisper. They're angled well, so they illuminate the road in a really efficient way, and the light that they put out is really clear, crisp, bright white light that I really like. It's an underrated feature of the TRD Pro line, and it's one that's easy to forget. That said, you could probably buy a set of these aftermarket and install them yourself for a few $100s. The light's better on this side, so I'm going to move over here to show you the wheels and tires, but you get BBS forged black TRD specific wheels. These are the same wheels that come on the Tundra TRD Pro, and they're actually the same wheels that come on the new Land Cruiser Heritage Edition, except on the Land Cruiser they're painted gold. TRD center caps on the Sequoia TRD Pro. These wheels are wrapped in Michelin LTX AT squared tires. I don't know much about these. They look to be pretty mild when it comes to off-road capability, with more of a focus on fuel economy. Sequoia gets about 15 miles per gallon combined, so it needs all the help it can get. So Toyota went with a really light-duty all-terrain tire, which is pretty much the case on all their TRD Pro models. We'll take a look at the suspension here. You can see the piggyback reservoir, the red coil spring, so you can see they have Fox co-branding, and that little cylinder off to the left there holds the shock oil away from the shock, and that helps to keep it cool for longer so you don't experience performance fade if you're driving this thing over long distances off-road. Moving down the side, you've got metal running boards. They're black, powder coated. They've got the TRD logo stamped in them there. Rear shock's pretty much the same as the front. TRD Pro badge on the tailgate here. And the final TRD Pro feature that we'll look at is the roof rack. Now, when this vehicle was announced at the 2019 Chicago Auto Show, I got really excited when I saw this roof rack because at first glance, it looks like a platform style roof rack that you'd find on an overlanding vehicle. And I keep one of those on my Land Cruiser actually. They're really practical. You can just throw things up there and then strap them down with some ratchets and bungee cords. And the four-sided nature of a platform roof rack is really practical. This one, when you look at it more closely, what it really is a U-shaped bar. Goes all the way down the back, around, and up to the front there. So it's got 3 mounting points, one where my hand is, another one there, and another one there. 3 mounting points on either side. You do gain an extra crossbar, which is nice. If you're throwing a kayak up here, that's one more point that you can strap it down to. But I think this thing could have been made a lot more useful if it had an additional bar up here And if it were designed to be a little lower profile, yeah, I would have designed this differently. If you're gonna do something like this, do it right, in my opinion, and I think this roof rack design kind of misses the mark. Before we climb inside, let's take a look at the rear tailgate and the cargo area. So, main selling point of a Sequoia is space. If you're buying one of these, you've got a lot of people and things to haul around. So, third row seat is folded in place right here. It seats 3 across. This TRD Pro model is offered exclusively with second row captain's chairs. Third row is power operated. I'll put up one of the seats here. So there it goes. Takes a minute to get up. Still a little bit of cargo space back here with the third row seat in place. Other features in the back, there are mounts for a cargo cover, cup holders back here, storage cubby, no USB ports. That's something that you see in more modern full-size SUVs. Keep in mind, it's been almost 15 years since the Sequoia was last redesigned. There is an outlet back here, some hooks for a cargo net, some storage space under here, some cleaning supplies in there right now, little hooks for tie downs, and that's about it. Buttons right here, which is convenient. A lot of tailgates have the button up here, and it's harder to reach for shorter people. On the Sequoia, it's easy for anybody to reach right there. Will it work? There you go. Oh, you have to hold it for a moment. Let's climb in the driver's seat, take a look at the window sticker and the interior. Start it up. So this is a 2020 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. The color is magnetic gray. Unfortunately, it's not in the 2020 TRD Pro army green color, but magnetic gray doesn't look too bad. Fuel economy on this thing is weak. 13 mpg city, 17 highway, 14 combined. And that's from an engine that makes only 381 horsepower and 401 pound-feet of torque. So it's another area where the Sequoia really shows its age. That 5.7 liter V8 is going to be really reliable, but it's just not efficient by modern standards at all. Sticker price on this thing is $67,029, and that's with pretty much no options. The Sequoia TRD Pro is offered pretty much as is, no options available for it. You can get some accessories, but things that are included are Toyota Safety Sense, so that'll give you, in the Sequoia, because this is such an old vehicle, they can only do so much. So in this case, that's pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, radar cruise control, lane departure alert, and automatic high beams. You also get blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic detection, a backup camera, which is now federally mandated, power liftgate, trailer sway control, 8 airbags, and front and rear parking sensors. You get LED lights. The infotainment system is new for 2020. It's really small, 7 inches, but it does have updated software and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatibility for 2020, which is a welcomed addition as well. One thing I forgot to mention on the outside is that this one has a TRD performance exhaust system. That does look to be an option, which is actually a good thing. I find it to be droney and loud, and it gets annoying after driving a short distance. So it's nice to see that that's optional. I would not check that option box for this vehicle. It's just really an obnoxious sound after a while. So $67,000 for the Sequoia TRD Pro. Not the most modern vehicle. The Sequoia still exists because it works. Toyota is really conservative with its designs and its update schedules, especially with its trucks and truck-based SUVs. So what you get here is pretty much the same thing you got 10, 12, 13, 14 years ago in the Sequoia. They have updated things. Like I said, the infotainment system's been updated. You do finally get push-button start. There's a small color screen in the gauge cluster here. It's got individual tire pressure sensing there. Some other things, you can adjust the active safety feature settings, digital speedometer, fuel economy. pretty much par for the course. But we'll start on the door here with a little quality test. This is, I'm going to call this high quality hard plastic. Definitely not rubberized, not leather. It is plastic. It's nice plastic, so it's got that going for it, but it's still just hard plastic. Moving down, this is like hard plastic wrapped in soft vinyl, maybe. This is rubber, kind of. Not really soft, but it's rubber. Painted plastic. Give it a silver look here. More hard plastic. The door handles are big and chunky, that's for sure, but they are plastic as well. So yeah, all plastic over here. High quality plastic. It's not going to break. It's not going to crack on you. It's going to last 20, 30 years, 300,000 miles, but it is very plasticky. Dashboard, again, hard plastic. Hard plastic. Hard plastic with a matte finish. Hard plastic. Hard plastic. Very plasticky interior. And I think that's okay, but it's all pretty much the same finish. So it's all this kind of matte black color that, again, doesn't look to be very high quality. And then you see the badge on the steering wheel, and you know, though, that it is going to be high quality, and it's going to last for a really long time. So that's kind of what you have to accept with the Sequoia. TRD Pro does come with this TRD shifter here for this 6-speed automatic transmission. Yeah, you know, it doesn't really do much. Maybe it's nicer to grip, but yeah. Dials for the HVAC system are big. I do like that. Pretty intuitively laid out here. You get a vent dial, which you don't get in every Toyota product. Heated seats, not ventilated seats, and the heated seats are operated via a dial. So, say I had a passenger last night who had the heated seat on and they didn't turn it off before they got out of the vehicle. When I got in and turned it on this morning, that heated seat would have still been on. So that's one thing to keep track of. But it all works. That's the thing here. It's not modern or fancy by any means, but it works. Moving up top, you do have this Toyota SOS button. You're seeing this in most Toyotas these days. That has this little shield over it so you don't accidentally press it. Sunglass holder right here. Small sunroof. Again, no panoramic roof in the Sequoia. Huge center cargo box here. Like, massive cargo box. This thing comes out. So lots of storage solutions for sure. Here's another quirky storage area. This tray here actually comes out, and you've got space to put maybe a phone, letters, envelopes, papers, pens. A tablet would slot in there and hang out pretty far, but it would fit in there. Little change cubby right here. 2 big cup holders plus 1 smaller cup holder, which is kind of nice. Over on the door, you've got more cup holders. Looks like there are 2 of them down there. You could probably jam as many as 4 bottles down there. Another feature I forgot to mention, and it's kind of odd to have something this unique on a vehicle that doesn't even have ventilated seats, but that's this adjustable thigh support. So there's a little rocker switch here. Right now I have it fully down. I'm going to put it up. It moves just barely an inch. It does give you a little more support, but not really enough to justify its existence. Really odd. Not something I was expecting to see on this vehicle, and really kind of a poor execution altogether. Weird. Beyond that, robust features, fabric headliner. I do like that this visor slides on its pivot point, gives you the best possible coverage. I'm not sure what this is. Your guess is as good as mine. No idea. I think that about covers the front seating area. Not much else to see up here. Let's hop in the back and I can give you an idea of just how much space is in this thing. Okay. Yeah, I've got an entire hand worth of space between my knee and the front row seat back. I'm about 5'11", and I have the seat in the position it would be in if I were driving. So you can see, even with a relatively tall person behind the wheel, there's just tons of room in the Sequoia. Other things back here, you do get some heating and air conditioning controls, although this does not have a heated second row. Another 12-volt power outlet back here. Oh, cup holder. All-weather floor mats. It's another thing you get with the TRD Pro model. Door panels are similar to the front door. Plastic, big, heavy, robust handles here. And really not a lot else to see. Climb back into the third row. You can see it folds in a 60-40 split. I've got the 60 side folded up right now. So 3 shoulder belts. The middle row shoulder belt is actually in the ceiling. That's an older style. Now they're generally just right here on the seat back, but with this one you would pull it down, clip this side in right here, and then the buckle itself comes over here. So kind of awkward. You need something to poke in there to release it if you want to put this seat back down, but you get the idea. Still a fair amount of room back here. So I've got room for my knees, not a ton. Room for my feet. There's no hump in the middle here, so you get a completely flat floor, and there are even all-weather floor mats for the third row as well. Interesting. Fair amount of space up the middle here. If you had the third row folded, you could throw a pair of skis or snowboard, fishing poles, other long items through the middle here. Yeah, ton of space in this thing. In terms of driving dynamics, the Sequoia drives like a big truck. You can hear that exhaust. It drones a lot, in fact. The TRD Pro suspension is really nice. While it's advertised as an off-road suspension, it really just makes things plusher all around, even when you're driving on-road. If you hit potholes or a joint in the road, you're not likely to really even feel it. The suspension really absorbs even the slightest road imperfections pretty well, actually. Fair amount of body roll with this thing. You know, I'm getting probably 13, 12, 10 miles per gallon as I drive up this little hill here, but the 381 horsepower from the V8 is still enough. It's just that fuel economy figure is atrocious. You know, other than that, Sequoia drives like a massive full-size SUV because that's what it is. So to wrap up the Sequoia here, this vehicle has been on sale now for 13 model years without a full redesign. It got a facelift in the mid-2010s, but all told, the 2020 model is still very similar to the 2008 model, so it's one of the oldest new vehicles on sale today. The competition has all surpassed it, more than surpassed it. The new Ford Expedition is really good. The Chevy Tahoe and GMC Yukon have been fully redesigned now for 2021, so those will be on the road soon, and those are also poised to be pretty good by the looks of it. So the Sequoia buyer is unique. I think you really have to value Toyota reliability to buy one of these new in 2020, especially one like this that costs $67,000, because you're not getting an efficient powertrain, you're not getting the latest active safety tech, you're not getting the latest technology, period. Infotainment's okay in this one, at least, but the interior is very plasticky. It feels old, but that said, it's kind of like an old truck. It's proven, it's dependable, and Toyota's kind of following a mantra of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And well, Sequoia's not quite broken, but it's it's borderline. So expect this vehicle to be fully redesigned soon. In the meantime, Toyota has put out a TRD Pro version for 2020 to kind of keep it fresh. But altogether, I think for $67,000, you've really got to value the Toyota badge and what you get with the Toyota, that being dependability, consistency, longevity, reliability, all meaning pretty much the same thing there, in order to justify purchasing this vehicle, because it's pretty old at this point. So on that note, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching.